Okay, just a minute. I get a chance to turn this off before it started recording by itself again. Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not, and it's finally time for me to review Clerks 3. It's no secret if you watch my channel. I'm a big fan of the Clerks movies. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. Clerks is probably my favorite of them, which spoiled my ranking, but yeah. And I haven't seen all of Kevin Smith's works. Actually, I only have 2 movies I haven't seen yet. Well, 3. We have Jersey Girl and Cop Out that I have yet to review, which I will in the coming weeks. But and Red State, but you can't find it anywhere. It's not streaming anywhere. You can't find DVDs are way expensive. So I'll never review that or put that in a ranking. So when I do the Kevin Smith ranking, just keep in mind I haven't been able to watch it or see it, so can't really talk about that one. But yeah, and so this one was a long time coming. Kevin Smith was working on 2 projects at one time. This and Mallrats 2. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to make Mallrats 2 as a TV series, and then couldn't get anyone to buy it. And then, okay, I'm going to work on Clerks 3, and then there was some drama with Jeff Anderson, so he couldn't do that. And then finally, a few years ago, he was finally able to get it going, and then COVID happened, but he finally got to get this going. Something that was in the can as far as all the way back, like it was in the pipeline, I should say, all the way back. The genesis of this project starts all the way back in the animated series. I've talked about it on the channel in the short-lived segment, but there was a Clerks animated series that aired on ABC for only 2 episodes. There's 6 episodes in total made. One of the unmade episodes was that Randall was going to have a heart attack and then want to make a movie about his life at the Quick Stop, filming at the Quick Stop. And so they took that idea, adjusted it to what it would be now, and about, adding characters like Elias from the second one and bringing that in. And yeah, so basically you get to see them refilm scenes from the first one, which was pretty cool. They even have like a lot of, if not all of the actors that played those characters, like come back to do those roles again, which is weird when you think about it, because they're like now in their 40s or 50s and they're coming back to play the same roles. I don't know, it's kind of weird. You see the guy who plays Rick Darris there, and then you see Veronica's there. The only character they didn't bring back, and they couldn't, is Caitlin Bree. That's because the actress passed away before they were able to make the movie. And so the character's never even mentioned, which I think is like a way to pay respect to her. That character's never mentioned. And the one thing that I will say it frustrated me at first was, like, right away, they show you something that they do it right away. They don't pussyfoot around it. They kind of tiptoe around what actually happened when they eventually reveal. But right away, they start normal Clerks. Dante's walking up. He unlocks the thing. He goes to unlock the other one, and there's gum. And I'm like, oh, come on, don't do this again. I know what I did the first time, but come on. No, he pulls the gum off, which, why didn't he just do that the first one? That makes it seem, how easy was that? And pull the shades up. He goes in, and he's at the cash register, and he looks down, and there's a little card thing on the cash register that Becky, whatever, Hicks, whatever, to 2006. Which is when the second movie came out, which means she died before I was thinking, what, childbirth? Is that what it was? But no, turns out it was a drunk driver accident that happened. It killed her and the unborn baby, which they named Grace, I think. So it was going to be a girl. I guess that makes sense because in that movie when he was walking, he saw the little girl wave at him. So the idea that the girl made sense. But I would have, first of all, I wouldn't have killed him off, but I did like what Kevin Smith did with this. So, but I would make it Dante's son, and he would name it Randall. I'm just saying. But no. And so the basic story of this, like I said, Randall suffers a heart attack. And again, they don't waste time with it. It happens. They get you clued on what's going on. If I didn't have to complain about something right away, it's that they decide to play this song. It's not a bad song. It's like My Chemical Romance. And it's an extended scene of them playing hockey. I'm like, okay, they did that original. That's fine. They're doing it now. But, like, I wanted exposition. I wanted people talking. I wanted a scene. And we start, which is the musical montage of them playing hockey. And I'm like, okay. Are we going to get to it? Or what, you know? For instance, the first one had talking. It was very quiet, but it had talking, and then it, it worked up to the scenes where they're going to talk. But there wasn't like music playing. There's no montage. The second one had music, but they also had dialogue. This is just music and them playing hockey. It's an interesting way to open the film, but I don't know. It kind of bugged me for some reason. I don't know why. It just did. After that's done, Randall gets into it with Elias, who's organizing the store. These guys own Silent Bob. And I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of this character. He's played by Austin Zazier, who is, like, in a relationship with Kevin Smith's daughter. And so, he's in the movie, and he plays basically a Silent Bob character, but then he does talk later at the end of the film, like Silent Bob does every once in a while. Jay and Silent Bob, by the way, are running a dispensary, a legal marijuana dispensary out of the RST video stores. Now RST THC now, because video stores are gone. So I like how they appropriate that into there, and so they're selling it. But they still act like they're, like it's illegal, like they're outside slipping away. And that's where the line from the trailer, that's how we did it in the 90s, son. That's where that comes from. And yeah. They do have something from the TV show, which I'll get to later. But yeah, so Randall has his heart attack, and they take him to the hospital. And what I don't particularly care about this scene is that they play it for laughs. Like, the man just had a heart attack, and he's worried about, like, they're gonna insert something through his groin. But he's worried about them seeing that he has a small dick. And it's like, okay. And he's like, I want Dante to know I have a small dick. And it's like, really? You just you're still having a heart attack right now. And that's what you're worried about. And even the doctor that's working on him, she comes in dressed like a witch, because she was at a costume party. And then there's jokes when she's trying to do surgery. Like, okay, why is he conscious? When you're doing that kind of surgery thing, when they're doing it, shouldn't they be unconscious? The only reason he's conscious is to make jokes. That's it. But he survives his heart attack thanks to this witch doctor. Not a witch doctor. A doctor just like, well, you know what I mean. So he decides he's going to make a movie about his life. So they have to go through the process. He's going to write the thing. I think he's living in between RST and the Quick Stop, because there's like a little apartment there, which I didn't know was there before, but I think he lives there. But he writes the thing in one night, and then he wants to film it. And this is where we get cameos from all the people that have been in the movie. But we get a bunch of cameos first during the casting call, and off the top of my head, you have Melissa Benoist and her husband Chris Wood, Danny Trejo, Ben Affleck, of course. He's got a heavy Boston accent, so I don't know who he's playing. He's just another character. I would like if he was playing like Holden McNeil or Shannon Hamilton or something. I would like it if Shannon Hamilton had to work as a freelance actor because the fashionable mail got shut down. He didn't know how to hold a stable job. That'd be funny. But nah. I can't remember any other cameos, but it was kind of cool to see some of those cameos. So Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. with the latter playing himself. I'm Freddie Prinze Jr. You know, and being as they can't find actors to play themselves, they're just gonna play themselves. Then I'm like Rondell and Dan T or whatever. I don't know what Randall's name was in the movie, but like, no, I'm Randall and you're Dante. And then he actually gets Veronica, the girlfriend from the first film, 37 in a row, to come back. And she's all pissed. Turns out she got married, but now she's divorced. And she's got a daughter who's mad at her for some reason. But her and Dante do it in the van. Again, we show throughout the film that he's mourning Becky. But he's like, hey, you wanna fuck? And they just do it, and it's like, wait, you're mourning your ex-wife. You're mourning your dead wife, but you're gonna have sex with your. I get it. It's supposed to be a funny joke, but if he's supposed to be in mourning, then why would he? I don't know. And I'll grant it. Granted, I thought they were going to go a different way with this. Because, okay, to be honest, I had already heard through some spoilers that Becky had died. So I already knew that her character was dead, and I was like, okay, I know why they did this. They did it just so Dante could end up with Veronica, because that was the end game. And they changed it because they couldn't get her to come back for the second one or something like that. And they didn't think they were going to do another one, and now they are, so they're changing things. They did not go in that direction at all. Without spoiling anything right now, this is not Dante's Happily Ever After. Okay? So, Elias, on the other hand, who's not playing a guitar, he's the Jesus freak guy, But since Jesus didn't come to help Randall, he's now a Satanist. Which is another thing that I didn't particularly care for. Like, I understand if you're going to be goth and Satanist, but every single time we see him, he changes his outfit to something weird looking. To a different weird looking look. And it's like, okay, I get it. You don't have to keep doing it. It's, It was funny to see Jay and Silent Bob try to act, or Jay at least. But he's trying to say this line from the end of the first movie. And I'm just like, why is he saying this line? It wasn't him. And then Silent Bob's like, fuck it, I'll do it. And he does it. I'm like, yeah, he's the one that's supposed to say the line. So was that the problem? Was that mirroring the problem in the first movie? Is that Jay was supposed to say that line, but he couldn't get it right, so Silent Bob said it? Is that what it was? I don't know. But they do make commentary on the original ending, even having the actor himself, who also plays Coey London in the movies, come in. He's like, yeah, Coey's going to come in and shoot you. That's a terrible ending. What are you talking about? It's a great ending. It was a terrible ending. That's the original ending, where, although it does kind of make sense, because the whole thing was Dante was not supposed to be there that day. He was forced to be there, and that happens. And if he wasn't forced to be there, that wouldn't happen. So that does make sense. Like, he's having the worst day of his life, and just when he thinks it's going to be better, boom. But, they got rid of it. That's fine. It's not necessary, Ending's not necessary. So, Dante is the producer. He needs to have funding and money. So, he calls his ex, Emma, from Clerks 2, who is Kevin Smith's real wife, and says, hey, I'll put my half of the quick stop on the line if you give me $30,000 to help fund Randall's movie. So he does. So she does, and then the problems arise between them, as always do. Dante and Randall are destined to have problems until their lives are over. So, yeah, they're getting arguments, they're having problems, because Dante's making this all about him, and it comes down, they're going to shoot the donkey show scene from the second movie. Even though all the other scenes they've been shooting are from the first movie, but they're going to shoot a scene from the second movie for no reason. Also, we can have Dante walk up to the movies restaurant and have a panic attack because he can't go back in it because of, Becky. And this is when we have the confession. His whole breakdown because they try to do the scene with the salsa shark and Dante has enough. And he has a breakdown. And when they go in to shoot this scene is when we get a cameo from a character from the TV series, Lando, who doesn't say a word. Now, if you're thinking, well, that's just like the TV series. He did say a word in the TV show. Hey, Randall. Or, say, hey, Lando. Hey, Randall. That would have been a lot funnier if they were just walking down the street talking and Lando walked by. Oh, hey, Lando. Hey, guys. That would have been funny because it's in the spirit of the TV show. But here, they play it for more laughs where his wife and his daughter are there. They both have the same name, Lisa. And she basically says, you shut up. You don't say a word. And so he doesn't say anything. That's not funny. I would have rather do something out of the TV series where he just walks by, says hi, because that was the joke, And even then, because they were arguing about having representation. I think we need more African American people in our movie, and he walks by, hey Randall, hey Lando. That would have been a funny joke because it makes sense. It's in the context. That would have been funny, but if they're like this, is okay. And then this is where Dante goes off on a rant, and then he has a heart attack. And because he basically says, it's all about Randall, 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 Randall. It's all about you. It's not about me. You ever think that, this making life about your life, but it's my life too. I've been with you all the time. I'm always there. That relive everything in his life, everything that he's done or never done, that whole thing. And he has a heart attack. Randall tries to go in the hospital with him and they kick him out because he's freaking out. And so he goes back to his little apartment. He runs all the way there, which for someone that just had a heart attack a few days ago, I don't think it's very good to run, but what do I know? And so he goes in and he does something, and he's like, he tells Jay and Silent Bob, hey, I need you guys to get me to the hospital so I can see Dante. So, it's made me laugh. Jay starts running down the hospital. I poopy or something like that. I poopied in my pants or whatever. And they're chasing him. And so he shows in the movie. Now, throughout the film, he's been seeing Becky in his dreams, and her, supposed to be a ghost or something, talking to him throughout the film. And here he's watching the movie, and it's the first movie. Everything we see is footage from the first film. It's none of the stuff that they shot. Everyone's younger. And I'm like, okay, why is it the first movie? Or were they that lazy they didn't want to actually show stuff a new one? But then I got it. Because Dante's sitting there, and he's watching, and he's smiling. It mirrors a scene from the movie. I can't figure out what movie it is, but the guy goes, I think it's Shia LaBeouf. It's like, and he's crying or whatever. And then Becky sits down next to him and puts his hand on her, and they start talking. And then they get up and they walk off. He's like, wait, are you not done? The movie's not over. He's like, don't you know how it ends? He's like, nah. And then I realize, I'm like, he's gonna die, isn't he? Sure enough, they cut back to the real world. Because they kind of make amends because he's like, it's all about you. It's been all about you. You're the star. You're the fucking star of the fucking movie. You've always been the star. Because they made a comment like, you're Dak. You're not even Luke Skywalker. You're not Han. You're not even Chewie. You're like Dak from Star Wars. And then here he's like, I do like how they talk about new Star Wars stuff too, like the Mandalorian. This is the way and stuff. Yeah, Dante passes away. He dies. And that's when I realized that wasn't the movie Randall made that he saw. It was his life flashing before his eyes. That's what it was supposed to signify. That's why it was the original footage, the original movie, because it wasn't the movie that Randall was filming. It was his life flashing before his eyes. And that's why he saw it like that. Don't know why it's black and white, but you know. And they do make comments on it too, like, oh, we just, they're always putting gum in the locks, so we're gonna do that so we can film at night and say it's the day. And then they talk about um, what was the other thing? Like about, oh, you gotta film in black and white because the cinematography sucks in here. The colors in here that sucks. You should film it in black and white. You know what I mean? It's Kevin Smith saying, "I'm gonna film in black and white. Fuck you," that sort of thing. But yeah, you go to Dante's funeral. Everyone is there. Walt, Steve, Dave, Veronica, Emma's even there. Jay's daughter, which is Kevin Smith's daughter, but Jay's daughter from Jay and Silent Bob reboot. And I do like how she kind of looks at the guy who's, the Elias is Silent Bob. And I did kind of chuckle that Elias is giving a eulogy, but he's still claiming he's a Satanist, even though it's a eulogy at a funeral. But yeah, and I did cry here. What got me was he's like, I'm gonna paraphrase The Departed, and not the movie by Scorsese. I'm talking about Dante Hicks. I might end up crying again. He's like, you're not even supposed to be here today. And they say goodbye. And so we cut back to the quick stop where Elias kind of gets the spot where Dante is. Now he goes, and he did say this in the second one, if Dante ever dies, you're my new best friend. He's like, I told you, if Dante ever dies, you're my new best friend. So there you go. Really? And so Emma shows up and she goes, hey, Dante put half the store on a $30,000 store. You can't pay. I own half the store. And this is where the subplot from earlier in the film, where Elias and the Austin Zagier's character were selling kite NFTs, and they sold like hotcakes, and so now they have enough money. They have a whole bunch of money. They have like $1 million, and he pays off Emma, and so she's like, fucking Clerks, and then like Elias and them run up. They're James on Bob come in, you want to buy some weed, and then it cuts randomly standing there, and he's like, I wish you were here. And then when the camera cuts again, Dante's standing there smiling at him. So it's like, I'm always gonna be here, I'll tell you what, I did not expect to be crying by the end of this movie. I'm telling you, I did not. I thought it was gonna end with Dante and Veronica getting back together. They had one scene where they, knock boots, but other than that, no. And again, that scene was kind of out of place because he's still mourning his wife, even though it was 2006, he's still in mourning. I guess it's time for him to move on, but I don't know. That whole wanna fuck scene kind of came out of nowhere. But I did enjoy this. I've seen claims that it's Kevin Smith's best movie for a while, and I agree, because I think the problem is when Kevin Smith does all these other movies like Cop Out or Jersey Girl or even like Yoga Hosers and Tusk, I think it takes him out of his wheelhouse, and all of his best movies are in this View-esque universe. Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma. All those movies, I think, are his best films because they're done with all his friends, people that care about him, people that love him, the people he knows and knows their limits. He knows, what they can and can't do. He knows what makes them laugh. He knows they can be funny. He can trust them. When you get in that world, you get all that. Sometimes in those mainstream films he does, like Cop Out, like Jersey Girl, like even Yoga Hosers and Tusk, he goes out of his wheelhouse. He tries to break the boundaries and do other stuff with mainstream actors. And then you have recurring actors like his daughter or Justin Long, that sort of thing. I mean, I would say that even like Zack and Mary Make a Porno could be in this. They said it was adjacent to the Views universe, but Jason Mewes plays a different character in there. Jeff Anderson plays a different character in there. So it kind of not. I wish they all did exist, but when you get into those movies where you have those characters that interlock the Views universe, it works. And I think that's why this works, because it's a part of that universe. I kind of wish there was more characters. Like with Dante Randall's funeral, would have killed you to get, like, to have Jason Lee sitting there as Brody. You could even go to double and have him playing double. At one end, he's Brody, and then you can kind of put him in on the other end as Banky, and have Ben Affleck sit next to him as he was already in the movies, where he could be holding next to him. You can have other characters from other movies sitting there. I mean, I forgot to mention, you have Scott Mosier and Ethan Suplee both playing Willem, because the thing is, they're playing the same character, right? Because Scott Mosier plays Willem in Clerks, and Ethan Suplee played him in Mallrats. Mallrats takes place chronologically the day before Clerks, so he lost a lot of weight for Clerks. Ethan Suplee, he's jacked now. You ever see him? He's like, But yeah, they're both in this, and it would be cool that if everyone was just, everyone in, maybe not everyone, but it was cool. And one character I wish could have made a cameo, and he's got to be played by Alec Baldwin like he was in the animated series, and that's Leonardo. Even if you had Alec Baldwin just sitting at Dante's funeral with a fake goatee on and an Asian guy with a hat standing behind him, that would be enough. Because I was like, hey, I know them. There was, with Lando, there was a nod to the TV series. I wish they would have done it like in a TV series, but still. And even just for shits and giggles, get like Jim Brewer to sit in. If you didn't know, Jim Brewer was supposed to be in a Clerks TV series. I think it was Jim Brewer, wasn't it? No, maybe it wasn't. That was Buddies. Never mind. There was two actors that were supposed to be in a Clerks, but that wasn't even connected to Kevin Smith, so I guess not. But I don't know. This was still good. I'm gonna say it's pretty good. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I thought it was good. I thought it was one of the better films that he's done in recent years. I thought Yoga Hosers was okay. On rewatch, Tusk was for me, but this is back to his wheelhouse. So I hope that at some point we get Mallrats 2 and just finish that off, because I would like that. I wouldn't even need a Mallrats 3. And going through this movie when it started, I'm like, do I need a Clerks 3? Well, after this, I don't think you can get one without kind of, just like when I was with Bill and Ted. I don't think you can do another one. We need a Clerks 4, I mean. I don't think you need to do another one undermining the ending. Like in Bill and Ted Face the Music, that ending was what they wanted to achieve. And here, it's a solidified ending. Because I don't know. I think it works. It just works. So, what are your thoughts on Clerks 3? Let me comment below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.